So a lot of people have questions about GoPro cameras, so this time I'm going to answer your most popular questions that you've sent me. So sit back, relax, enjoy the video. This is DemonView. Hi there, welcome back to the channel and I appreciate you watching. In this video we're going to take a look at some of the most popular questions that pop up about GoPro cameras and we're going to have answers for you. So hopefully you may pick up a thing or two that proves beneficial. And remember, if you like these videos and if you find them useful, please click those like and subscribe buttons as it's a great way to help out with the channel and it doesn't cost you a thing to do so. So, on with the questions. Number 1, what SD card do I recommend for use in the GoPro? Okay, so while there are plenty of SD cards out there that claim to be compatible with GoPro cameras, you really do want something tried, tested, and true. What you don't want to do is spend hundreds of dollars on your GoPro and then go to the bargain basement looking for your SD card. I mean, that's just going to cause you issues guaranteed. So there's actually only one card that I stand behind, and I've used these cards since the GoPro Hero 4. I also use them in my GoPro Hero Fusions, the Hero 6s, the Hero 8s, the Hero 9, the Hero 10, the Hero 11, and those cards are the Samsung Evo cards. In fact, I still have one here on my memory card reader. This is actually the older card that I use. It's the green one, but there is a new updated version of it, and I'll post the link down below. But honestly, these cards are rock steady and reliable, and I've never had a single issue with them at all. Like I said, what you don't want to do is go on eBay or Amazon trying to find the cheapest SD card possible to put in your expensive camera. And remember, if the price seems too good to be true, it usually is. Question number 2, why does the red light on my GoPro stay on after charging it? Well, that's because the optimal way to charge a GoPro is with a UL certified 5V 2.4 amp charger. However, if you try charging your GoPro with the PC USB port or USB hub, then these don't always have a consistent output. And this will result in you seeing that constant red light on your GoPro. So when you're charging your GoPro, best to use a proper wall charger and not a USB port or hub. I mean, seriously, it makes a difference. Question number 3. Why are my videos so shaky or blurry when recording with my GoPro? And that's one that does pop up a lot. And it could be that you're shooting with insufficient light and you're using Hypersmooth. Hypersmooth is great. It really does offer gimbal-like stabilization, but it doesn't really work that well in dark, and the footage isn't going to look great when using Hypersmooth in dark locations. This also includes indoors. I mean, this actually might seem bright, but at the moment, I assure you it's actually pretty much darker than it looks. And if I were to use Hypersmooth and Boost here, it wouldn't look good. So using Hypersmooth and High or Boost when it's in like a dark kind of location, that's actually going to make your footage look even worse. So, you know, it's better off to have it set to minimum, or even better, have it off and use a gimbal if you're shooting at nighttime. If you're shooting in bright light and using ND filters, you'll also have pretty much the same issue. Remember, ND filters are used to create motion blur, so you're actually darkening the image that reaches your camera sensor, inducing motion blur, and combined with Hypersmooth, that's going to cause a blurry, shaky video. And that will also depend on the level of ND filter that you're using. So honestly, it's all about light, and the more light you have, the better Hypersmooth is going to look for you. Okay, next up, number 4. What are the best settings to use on my GoPro? And that question is a huge can of worms, and it would just take a really long time to answer. Look, to put it simply, if you want the very best picture quality and the very optimal image for your GoPro, then you're constantly going to be switching settings on your camera. I mean, there is no one setting that suits every situation. Shooting in the snow, those settings are going to be completely different than shooting at the beach. Shooting in a forest, completely different than shooting in the city. Shooting underwater, again, completely different than shooting for aviation. Now, luckily the GoPro does a pretty good job when left in full auto mode, so if you're not used to the different settings, then just let the GoPro camera decide what's best for the situation. When you get more experience with shooting, then you can start experimenting with different settings. In the meantime, try to use the highest resolution, as that's going to allow you to crop more and edit your image later, and use high frame rates sparingly. I mean, only use them when you specifically need slow motion shots, you know, so shoot for like a few seconds at a time on high frame rates, otherwise you're going to end up with huge clips that are just a pain to edit, and you'll keep your camera cooler. Speaking of which, number 5, why does my GoPro overheat when I'm using it? And actually, I did a whole video about that, and you can check it out. I'll post the link down below or embed it weeks here or something, it's actually really hard to decide what I'm going to do in post when I'm actually making the video now. So I will put that link somewhere, but it's all about overheating. In fact, I'll put it as a suggested video next to watch after this. Anyway, usually it's a case of just using the wrong settings for what you're filming. So it's just a case of knowing how to set up your camera and choose the right settings. Like I said, I've got a whole video about preventing camera overheating, and I'll link that at the end of this video. So here's the thing. Because of that video, I've had two really good responses to that video. One was like, what's the point if I can't use the very best settings on my camera without it overheating? Well, to that I say snow tires. This makes sense, I swear. I mean, they're excellent in the winter, and they provide my car with great grip on the ice and snow. They keep me on the road, they keep me safe, and they're the very best tires I can use on my car in the winter. They suck in the summertime, and they reduce my fuel mileage, they tear up the road, they can even damage your car. Like, so what gives? I mean, aren't snow tires the very best thing I can put in my car for grip and safety? Sure, in the winter. So saying that you can't use the very best settings on your camera without it overheating isn't quite true. I mean, Hypersmooth is one of the very best settings to have enabled on your camera if you're holding it in your hand when walking about or jogging or mountain biking. But it's also one of the worst settings to have enabled if you have your camera staying still on a tripod indoors. So to say very best settings or worst settings, you know, it's kind of subjective. The other response was that GoPro should keep in mind people who don't want to change settings on their camera to keep it operating. Well, actually GoPro did just that. I mean, with the Hero 10 they introduced tripod and extended battery mode. With the Hero 11 they introduced easy mode. But honestly, GoPro can't know every single situation that users plan to film in. And look at it this way, if you had a GoPro that you couldn't change the settings on, people would be furious. It would take the pro out of GoPro. So, I mean, if you want a professional action camera that shoots video in 5.3K 60 frames per second, 10-bit color with stabilization, then you should probably be learning how to set up and shoot with your camera properly. I mean, that's just my thoughts. Okay, question number 6. Okay, why won't my footage play back on my PC? It plays back on my GoPro just fine. Look, when you have your GoPro camera and you're watching footage on your GoPro, you're not looking at the high quality MP4 file that was recorded. Instead, you're watching a separate low-resolution video file, or an LRV, that was created in addition to your footage. Now, this file is of lower quality and it's much smaller, so it can play back on your camera or stream to your phone during preview for editing. So when you transfer these files to your PC, you're usually not watching that LRV then, you're actually trying to play back that high-resolution MP4. So depending on your camera model or camera settings, your PC could have issues playing back some of the files due to the fact that they've been encoded in HEVC format. So you need to make sure that your PC is fast enough, powerful enough, and has a HEVC codec installed in order to play back and edit your videos. For me, one of the easiest ways to see if your recording or your camera is at fault is to take the file directly from your SD card, upload it to YouTube, and if YouTube can process the file and play it back, then hey, then your PC has a problem. If YouTube can't process and play back the file, then the file that was recorded is a problem, in which case you may need to watch my video about SD card tips and care. So, question number 7. What is the best GoPro to get? I'll be doing a separate video on that, but right now the Hero 10 is actually my favorite GoPro in a number of years. I mean, it's a rock solid little camera. It performs excellently. The Hero 11 is a small bit of an upgrade, but not exactly huge, and given the fact that there's a $50 price difference between them, it's really a toss-up about which one you choose to buy. However, if you get the 10, you can use that extra $50 to buy some extra accessories to go with your camera, or you can just pay for the 11 and have the latest and greatest camera. Okay, question number 8. Why doesn't the Quick app on my PC recognize my camera? That's probably because the Quick app for PC was discontinued over 4 years at this point. I mean, the last camera it fully supported was the GoPro Hero 7. It won't fully support the GoPro Hero 8, 9, 10, or 11, as all of these cameras were released after Quick for Desktop was discontinued. The 9, 10, and 11 all use a different USB driver, which is kind of newer, and Quick for Desktop doesn't really recognize it. So in all fairness, Quick for Desktop is just old, outdated, unsupported, discontinued software that you shouldn't be using. I mean, you're not running Windows 3.1 as your operating system, are you? No way. It's too old and outdated. Well, guess what? You shouldn't be using Quick for Desktop either. There's other free editors out there like DaVinci Resolve, which is a professional editor, or if you want something very quick and simple, If you're using Windows, just click on the search icon beside your start bar and type in video editor, and that brings up Windows built-in video editor that not a lot of people seem to know about. But it's very quick, it's very simple, and you'll just use it for banging out videos very quickly. But for those of you who do want a quick for desktop, GoPro did announce during their last investors relations meeting that they are working on desktop software, and they said it should be released sometime during the fourth quarter. We'll wait and see. Okay, question number 9. Why doesn't the Hero 11 have better resolution with the max lens mod? Will this be improved with a firmware update? A, it doesn't have better resolution due to physics. And B, no, it's not going to be improved with a firmware update. I mean, the max lens mod was designed with the Hero 9 in mind. It basically, if you don't know how the max lens mod works kind of on the camera, and excuse my drawing hands here, get them ready. The GoPro Hero 9 had a rectangular sensor, and to stabilize video in a 360-degree sphere, you have to basically fit a small little square inside that rectangular sensor that can move all the way around without actually touching the edges of that rectangle, if that makes any sense to you. Now, the thing is, to do that, you have to focus the light on a very small area within that rectangular sensor, and that light, you know, kind of that focus area is 2.7K. Now, when you put that max lens mod on a Hero 10 or a Hero 11, it doesn't matter that the Hero 11 has a bigger sensor, you're still focusing the image on that very, very small space of 2.7K. So, like I said, the focal length of the lens is still the same, and it's still focusing that same size image over the same area. I mean, the sensor size of the 11 is bigger, but the square image that the max lens mod provides is still the exact same size, so no firmware update in the world is going to be able to bypass the laws of physics. Also realize that the Hero 11 actually provides 360-degree horizon lock in 4K without the max lens mod anyway, thanks to the larger sensor. So, hey, why downgrade your footage with the max lens mod on your Hero 11? Just use the horizon lock in 4K. Okay, and our final question is, do you work for GoPro? No. I respect GoPro, I think they're a great company, and I consider myself lucky enough to know some of the staff there. I did submit my resume to them, however they politely declined, as they said, and I quote, they didn't actually have an opening for a head lunchtime pizza tester. Now, I think that's probably be a big mistake on their end of things. Everybody loves pizza, and I want to ensure that when they order pizza, they're getting a good quality pizza that's not afraid to be different, but it's still tasty without being pretentious. And while many pizza joints try to make slight variations with their topping, I believe that the true innovation and change has to first start with the crust, and then the sauce, and then the toppings. And I've also campaigned for GoPro to replace their GoPro Awards prizes with a pizza voucher, and to add a pizza button to their app that once you press it, it'll order you a pizza. However, these great ideas seem to fall on deaf ears, it seems. I mean, come on. Don't you guys think those are great ideas? Tasty ideas? So anyway, that's my top GoPro questions answered for today. If you found any of this information to be helpful or tasty, or even informative in regards to opening your own pizza business, let me know in the comments section, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Until next time, cheerio. Yeah, the next video I'm doing is going to be a good one. Let me tell you, it features this setup with 3 cameras, and I'm going to be recommending which one you should be buying for Christmas. And yeah, I know it's not Christmas yet, but if the shops are putting up decorations, then hey, there we go. Let's just get through Halloween first.